Hi friends, so I read a lot of advice for people who write or make art or create things on the internet because there's nothing more helpful to doing a thing than obsessively researching the decisions you've already made. And a lot of it, especially for people who want to make videos, is what I call the iPhone and a dream advice, where it's just like, just start, just do it. We all have a phone in our pockets, that's all you need. Just start making things and finding your voice and putting it online, just go. And while that's not necessarily like bad advice, I think it's kind of incomplete. Because one, it assumes that all like aspiring creators have never actually made a thing before, but it also assumes that putting it online is the best way to go. And that's, I think, not always the case. And here's why. Ever since I figured out how to read, I loved reading and I loved writing. I used to make these comics in second grade about the imagined adventures of my favorite pop stars. I had folders where I wrote plot synopses and reviews of Lizzie McGuire episodes, and I had notebooks upon notebooks of emo song lyrics that I wrote in high school. But I also liked to write short stories about characters that I related to. You know, gloomy art kids who were gonna make it out of this town. Anyway, my junior year, I wrote a story about the inner lives of a suburban family. There's no plot, there's no real dialogue, it just sort of jumps from person to person, room to room, visiting their thoughts. The story was not great. I will be the first to admit that, but I know my way around words, so I made it sound real pretty. When I submitted it to my school's writing contest, it won a prize. And part of that prize was it was supposed to get published in our like student-run literary magazine. But oh, dear reader, the editor of that magazine organized like a full-on campaign to not have to publish my story. He went around trashing it to everyone, to all my friends. He tried to get other kids who worked on the magazine to vote against publishing it, and eventually they had to run my story anyway, even though he insisted it's not a story even, it's a vignette. And you know what I did? I internalized it. I didn't write another thing that wasn't for school for 3 years. I could be 3 years of work better at what I do than I am now. But a boy was mean to me and I listened to him. So everyone has an iPhone and a dream, but when you're starting out, that dream is really fragile and you're still finding your footing. Yeah, you need feedback to improve, but in the beginning, that feedback is internal. You know it's not there yet. You don't need some stranger on the internet to be like, hey, I think this sucks. And also, you have really bad acne. And you should die. I'd like you to be dead. Also, the just post stuff, start sharing your work imperative comes from this idea that we all inherently want this to be our jobs. Like, so you want to be a YouTuber, you want to be a writer, you want to have a really hard time explaining to your parents what you do for a living, then yeah, you've got to start posting stuff right away so you can monetize it, because how do you monetize something that nobody else can see? But also, you don't have to monetize it. Like, I have a full-time job. This is not my job, she says, pointing to the card where you can support her on Patreon. I too suffer from the 2018 tendency to be like, ooh, a thing I like doing? How does this get me closer to affording all my dental work? But does it have to? Do we have to do this? Like, it's nice making a little extra money off of YouTube, but wow, am I glad that I am not worried about paying rent, because the kind of stuff that I like to make isn't especially popular. And so if I had to make this my job, I would have to change what I make to please the gods of the algorithm, and I probably wouldn't like it, and then it would just be a job. But right now, this is the thing that I love most in the world. It's just a dream and a bunch of fancy camera equipment that I've accumulated over the years, which, by the way, I paid for by shooting wedding videos, which I thought would be fun at the beginning, but then just turned into working really long, stressful days and never having a day off ever, which, are you sensing a pattern here? I get it. We're all broke, we all crave attention and the dopamine rush of a notification symbol. Or if you want to be authentic and pure about it, we all want to have the means to make our art and feed ourselves. So maybe there will come a point where you want to show your work to other people, or maybe even make it your job. And when that time comes, there's enough other advice out there. You'll know what to do. But sometimes the best part of a dream is when it's like a little illicit secret that you're just chipping away at in 20-minute chunk of stolen time by 20-minute stolen chunk. You're just kind of cheating on capitalism with your art, and no shitty comment or deadline or weird freelancer tax filing situation has come to ruin it yet. It's yours and no one else is. And you have no idea what you're capable of. In comments, tell me about something you're working on that you love. If you like this video, you can share it with someone else who you think might like it, or you can watch last week's video if you missed that one. And I will see you soon. Bye!